Empowering Women by Dr. Vandana Shiva. Written on the train from Punjab, India. I have spent all day with 300 women from rural Punjab who had gathered for a public hearing organized for the National Commission for Women to assess the impact of globalization on women in agriculture. Punjab, home of Green Revolution. Punjab is the breadbasket of India. It is the home of the Green Revolution. But farmers of Punjab are committing suicide because behind the growth and development of commercial industrial farming is a huge financial debt burden that farmers can no longer carry, and is growing ecological burden that the earth can no longer carry. The biodiversity of Punjab has disappeared and been replaced by monoculture of wheat and rice. Diseases and pests have exploded, and with them the use of pesticides. Chemicals also need massive inputs of water. Overuse of water for chemical farming has led to desertification. In terms of health, a farmer's income, the Green Revolution has not created growth. It has created poverty and underdevelopment. Devaluation of women. Women have paid the highest price. As chemical from farming, women were devalued. Combined with patriarchal values, this development induced devaluation of women in agriculture has led to a new violence in the form of female feticide. Gender discrimination mutates into women's dispensability under a development which excludes and devalues women. In the 1961 census, there were 979 girls for 1000 boys in India. In 1991, the figure was 945, and by 2001, it had dropped to 927. The economically developed regions of Delhi, Punjab, Haryana, Gujarat have the highest number of missing girls due to female feticide. Agriculture systems, which are women-centered and earth-centered, are also more productive. 3000 units of inputs produce 100 units of output in industrial agriculture, while ecological systems in which women participate use only 5 units of input to produce 100 units of output. The displacement of women from agriculture disempower women and reduces food security. Food system evolved by women based on biodiversity based production rather than chemical based production produce 100 of times more food with better nutrition, quality and taste. Women friendly alternative. The Millennium Development Goals ignore these women friendly alternative which would not just half. Between 1990 and 2015, the proportion of people who suffer from hunger. Women can remove hunger not just by 50%, they should remove it by 100% both, because their knowledge system and technologies produce more while using less but also because in our value system it is unacceptable that in 2015 500 million should continue to go hungry. This patriarchal logic of exclusion is not acceptable to us, nor is the defining of poverty and wealth on the basis of $1 a day indicator. Even when our health production is not counted in dollars, we are providing food and water. And an income of $1 a day is meaningless indicator of development if the cost of living is being pushed up to $10 a day with corporate monopolies on seed and water because of patents and privatization. Meeting people's needs. People can meet their needs for food and water in self-provisioning. Sustenance and sustenance economies at less than a $1 a day, and farmers can be pushed to suicides and women and children to hunger at more than a $1 a day because the cost of living outstrips earnings. High cost, low input, low return. Agriculture is at the root of growing hunger because farmers do not grow diverse crops for their needs. They sell what they grow to pay back debts. Higher growth does not translate into higher food entitlements and less hunger. In India, starvation deaths have re-emerged for the first time since the Great Bengal Famine of 1942, which killed 2 million people because food security systems have been dismantled. People starved when 65 million tons of food grain were rotting as surplus. Women's contribution. The MDG indicators are misplaced because they ignore women's contribution to food security. Goal number 3, aimed at gender equality and empowering women, actually sees the reduced role of women in agriculture as an indicator of women's empowerment. However, as the India's experience shows, displacement of women from productive roles in agriculture goes hand in hand with women's devaluation and eventually their dispensability. We need to strengthen women's role in agriculture both to remove hunger and empower women. We need to redefine development from women's perspective to ensure no one goes hungry or thirsty on the planet. As Gandhi said, the earth has enough for everyone's needs, but not for some people's greed.